Hello, welcome back. Here is your video about the Korean War. People, whew, we talked about China, right? They fell to communism by 1949. All right, literally 1 year later, Korea fell. If you don't know anything about geography, Korea does share a border, North Korea, I should say, shares a border with China. Domino effect. One falls to communism, neighboring countries around it will fall to it as well. All right. And again, in this video, we are focusing on the Korean War. All right. The Korean War, all right, I'll keep this simple for you. Who was involved? South Korea and the United States versus North Korea, the People's Republic of China, and the Soviet Union. Okay. This was kind of a proxy war. All right. What was it? Again, it was a proxy war. America and the Soviet Union were the two main forces involved. And while both did send soldiers to fight in it, my grandfather being one of them, not the one who fought in World War II, but the other grandfather of mine, right? But it was mostly the US and the Soviet Union trying to spread their influences worldwide. Okay. Where was it? The Korean Peninsula, when it was only 3 years long, 1950 to 1953. Why? Because in 1948, us and the Soviet Union divided the Korean Peninsula. It used to be just one Korea, by the way, just Korea, okay? After World War II, we divided it in half, all right, at the 38th parallel. Okay, North is going to be communist, South is going to be democratic, which it remains to this day. Now, the Korean War, we won and lost this war, and I say that lightly, okay? So we won this war because South Korea remained democratic to this day. South Korea is actually still one of our biggest allies, especially in that region of the world. And we have military bases there. Seoul, South Korea, the capital city, is supposed to be super awesome. I have a few friends who were stationed in the Marines there, and they loved it. But we also lost this war because North Korea still to this day remains communist and also kind of freaky. But we'll talk about that in just a second. All right. Of course, here are some pictures for you to get your attention to see that people were affected by this war. All right. I say fun-ish facts because it's a war, and facts can only be so fun about wars, right? The Korean War, we also call it the Forgotten War, all right? Why? Because it was overshadowed by World War II and Vietnam. This war was started 5 years after World War II. 5 years after World War II. Reminder, World War II, the most destructive and expensive war in all of human history. So, when America sent troops over there 5 years after the end of World War II, you can only imagine how that went. Soldiers were tired, they didn't want to fight anymore, we just fought a horrific war all throughout the world. And now you want us to go to Korea? Why? Why? Literally, why? Right? Our weapons were out of date, our soldiers were exhausted. There wasn't a real good reason for us to be there. We were just there to stop the spread of communism. Now, this fact is kind of fun. The President Truman, fired a general who, by the way, in World War II was amazing, okay? He did fantastic things. Well, okay. He did great things in the Pacific Theater. I don't say fantastic because, of course, killing people is not fantastic, right? General Douglas MacArthur wanted to use nuclear bombs on North Korea. And the problem, it ended the war in Japan within a few days. Cool. So if we just bomb North Korea, no enemy, no problem. Truman fired him for that. You can't just lightly use nuclear bombs. We can't set that precedent. Okay, you can't just use a nuke on your enemy because you don't like them and you feel inconvenienced for fighting them, right? That's frowned upon. It's a weapon of mass destruction. This is not a justifiable cause, right? And last fun fact, no treaty was ever officially signed. Remember, a treaty officially ends a war. This war just ended in an armistice. I'll stop shooting if you stop shooting. This is now the longest American war. Okay, because of that, it never officially ended, although fighting ended in 1953. In this picture here on the left, that is the somewhat creepy Korean War Memorial in Washington, D.C. Very scary if you were going at nighttime, because they're all lifelike. And then pictured there on the right is a guy who looks like Bruce Willis, the actor. That's General Douglas MacArthur with his corn cob pipe. and his button. Okay, sorry. From there, we get the Hermit Kingdom. This is a topic a lot of people like talking about, especially today in the culture of memes. All right. No, Kim Jong-un is not dead. We'll talk about that. North Korea is the first ever communist dynasty, right? If you look at communist governments throughout world history, one guy dies and the person who takes over after them is not related to them. A dynasty means that they are actually related. So we got Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea. Okay. Then he died, and then Kim Jong-il, his son, became leader. Then he died, and now we got our current leader, the grandson of the founder, Kim Jong-un. All right, there is a huge cult of personality around this dynasty. People literally worship them. Remember, in communist governments, religion is not a thing. They don't believe in God, right? Atheist, if you will. So it's easier to manipulate people and saying, this leader right here is your God, right? And they call him supreme leader. They literally pray to his picture all the time. It's actually kind of weird. I mean, I say it's weird because I'm American, so maybe I'm biased. Who knows? No Americans are welcomed there except for a select few. Kim Jong-un is a huge basketball fan. Here's your fun fact of the day. And if you know Dennis Rodman, a basketball player from the 80s and 90s, played with Michael Jordan, right? Or did he play against him in the Detroit Pistons? Whatever. Football fan, not basketball. Dennis Rodman is allowed there. So kind of weird. And also we have something known as the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone, near the 38th parallel, and it discourages people from defecting. All right, I'm still not done talking about this. It's crazy. Here are their official propaganda portraits. Were they smiling people all the time? Heck no, they're dictators, people, all right? But of course, the people in North Korea are like, oh, they're so wonderful. Rainbows must be all around them at all time, and they ride unicorns into the sunset. Okay, maybe that's a little dramatic, but you get the point. The guy on the left is the founder, Kim Il-sung. The guy in the middle is that guy's son, Kim Jong-il, and then the guy on the right is the current leader, Kim Jong-un. All right. Here are some fun facts about the demilitarized zone. It's actually the exact opposite of demilitarized. It is 160 miles long, 2.5 miles wide. It's huge. All right. Full of landmines, barbed wire, guard tires, sniper towers, you name it. It's all there. There are a few things there. The joint security area is perfectly on the border between North and South Korea. I'll show you a picture of that in just a second. Tourists can go there on the South Korea side, but you have to sign a waiver because death is always a possibility with North Korea. You never know. All right. Both North and South Korea have been competing for the world's tallest flagpole at the DMZ. That is a real story. Look it up. It's very strange. Not to be outdone by their neighbors, right? And also there are loudspeakers that used to be on both sides of the border projecting propaganda to the opposing side. I say used to because they stopped doing that about 16 years ago or so. These pictures are important, okay? So the picture right here on the left is the border. You see that little barrier right there? On this side with the two soldiers there, that's North Korea. Notice they are facing South Korea, and then there are soldiers in the background facing each other. They are facing each other to make sure they don't defect. If they decide to run away and run to South Korea, the cool side, the free side, they will be shot to death. Okay. North Korea picks their strongest and biggest looking men to serve at the border as propaganda. Like, look how cool and scary we are, right? On the South Korean side, you can see South Korean and American. Okay. This picture is huge. This one is the joint security area, whatever. This picture is huge. In 2018, President Donald Trump, say what you want about him, he became the first president in U.S. history to actually meet with a leader of North Korea. Okay, that is a huge deal. Now, they did discuss a peace treaty, but nothing was ever actually signed. All right, but President Trump did meet with Kim Jong-un. Look how much shorter he is than Trump. Like, that's hilarious. Sorry. Right, and so that was a huge thing that showed that maybe North Korea is starting to loosen tensions with the United States, which is fantastic. So again, say what you want about Trump, but that was a fantastic triumph of his, for sure. All right. And that's Korea. Stay tuned for the Berlin Wall, people. All right.